Hello, ladies and gentlemen of SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis Simulan Sowers, and I am doing my last regular draft video for Seems Good Magic. It's quite possible I will return in the future for a guest draft appearance for flashbacks or something like that. But we're not going to do the regular Monday ones here on Seems Good going forward. I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for watching me here on Seems Good, to thank Alex for the opportunity to draft for Seems Good Magic. It's been good for both of us as I understand it. And the Seems Good Magic community is absolutely fantastic. That's the viewers as well as the people involved in the content production. Alex is a super cool dude, very easy to work with. Jamie and Sam have been nothing but amazing, nothing short of amazing also. So huge respect and props for the Seems Good peoples. The reason that I'm moving, I wanted to be able to explain that as well, and Alex was kind enough to let me do one last video to kind of explain why. As I've begun to produce more and more content, via streaming, via the podcast, via the videos, I wanted to get kind of one central umbrella where you could go to find all things that Travis produces that are not on the stream. The podcast Men from Moto was kind of tied directly to Mana Deprived. So I'm still going to be doing videos, and they're actually going to be where many of you may have found me to begin with, which is manadeprived.com. So the videos are still coming out. They'll still be there. You can check them out on Mana Deprived. And like I said, I would be surprised if I don't come back when there's a sweet flashback set and do a video too or here for you at Seems Good. Because like I said, Alex is just a super cool dude, very easy to work with, and the community here is fantastic. But that said, going forward, my content will appear on Mana Deprived. You can find videos there as well as the podcast. And as always, you can check out the stream at twitch.tv/Simulan. And that's where I'll be doing my stuff going forward. That said, we got one last draft here for Seems Good. Let's make it a good one, shall we? That doesn't mean I have to go off the rails and draft something crazy, but it certainly means that I could. We'll see what we open. And here we are with our pack one, pick one. And it's probably going to be difficult to get me off of the Glint Sleeve Siphoner. I like Maverick Thopterist a lot. This is a powerful magic card, and in the right deck, it can be absolutely absurd. Aether Chaser is reasonable too, but if I'm going to take a 2-1, I'd kind of rather take a 2-1 that's going to draw me some cards. The Glint Sleeve Siphoner is already difficult to block, and you combine it with anything else where you've got energy, and you can get some card drawing going. I also feel that this is a fairly aggressive format, so having, you know, a 2-1 in your deck is not a bad thing anyway. 2-1 Menace is probably just fine. I think the 2-1 First Strike would win over that, and I'm again nervous first picking a gold card. So let's start out with the Siphoner and kind of see where we can go from there. Well, I've had some blue-black decks, and they've been successful. And one of the things folks have encouraged me in the comments is to just go for it. Take the cards and see what you can do. The challenge here is there's a lot of cards for that deck here. Tezzeret's Touch obviously goes in that deck. Merchant's Dockhand goes in that deck. Taking either of these is kind of like taking a gold card, in that this one is a gold card, and this one specifically means you have to play blue. So I think I'm going to default to the Poisoner. I'm not entirely convinced that it's the worst card in the pack. Tezzeret's Touch and the Merchant's Dockhand are certainly more powerful. We could take the Dockhand. Like, I don't have to be black. It would feel really weird to take the Dockhand and then go into like blue-red Improvise after passing the premier card from that color combination. But I think with a good solid black card and a reason to want energy, I should probably just take the Poisoner and keep going. You know what I haven't done yet in Aether Revolt? I haven't made a hidden stockpile deck. Now, at the same time, Scrounging Bandar looks particularly good, but there's some decent white cards here and still some playable black ones. And I feel like Hidden Stockpile is a powerful card that could be broken. I've seen it do good things for my opponents. I've just never managed to get it going. But if we get this and maybe some of those Aetherborn dudes that you can sack artifacts to get counters, I could see this being particularly powerful. Okay, we're going to do something a little crazy if I can make it work. Okay, punished a little bit. Blue-black, it's a thing. It's a thing. But we're going to see if we can have some fun here. I have not had great experiences with Call for Unity yet. This could be the deck that makes it work. God, this is kind of putting two medium cards together and trying to make them do something good. I could just take the Trophy Mage and accept that we should have been blue-black, and it sucks that we passed the good cards. But how often do we get to try something like this? All right, Countless Gears Renegade is pretty meh, but so frankly is the rest of this pack. Leaving the Dust is acceptable. Implement of Ferocity is acceptable. I've been main decking 1/4 Bridge Prowler and usually been pretty happy about it, so I'll start there. It can potentially get the Revolt train a-going. Speaking of cards that are revolting, Felidar Guardian might be fun. It just instantly triggers Revolt for whatever you need. Gets better with comes into play abilities. I think we're starting to get a deck here. I would consider Conviction or Strangler as okay cards here. Hinterland Drake's pretty good too. Iron Tread Crusher's pretty good, but I want to see if I can pull this off. All right, so Servo Schematic versus Conviction. The Schematic currently only plays with the stockpile, but I think I'm going to try it with the idea that now those guys that sack into sack artifacts are actively something I want. I would probably be happy with the Fin Hauler here, but Caught in the Brights is something we're certainly going to want. Barricade Breaker is reasonable too, as we've already got like what 1, 2, 3 artifacts potentially. All right, so I could see playing this if I get another stockpile or if I get a bunch of those sacrifice dudes, which I think is what I'm going towards. This would be the first time I've played an Implement of Improvement, but I might, and it would technically trigger Call for Unity. That's interesting. That's interesting. The touch came all the way back around. I'm not saying we're going to, but I'm not saying we're not. This guy kind of sucks. This is not really the enabler. Like, it's not really worth working to enable. If the deck's kind of accidentally making Revolt happen, we could play this and be sort of happy with it. Return, not great, but sure. Assembler, kind of also in the not great, but sure pile. If our neighbor hasn't figured out blues open by now, let's go ahead and let him know. What I'm looking for here is basically those sacrifice guys. If I can get maybe 2 of those out of this pack, I think we'll be happy. We may also just draft another train wreck. People seem to enjoy watching the train wreck draft as well. What's happened here basically is black is not particularly open. White is. Blue-black specifically is also, or that wouldn't have come all the way around. My hope is that since we didn't pass a lot of great black, we might be able to pick up some here. Specifically, I may not have mentioned it, but the card we're looking for, probably more than anything else, is the Defiant Salvager. Because that would really start some silly shenanigans going. Well, there's a Quicksmith Rebel. And that's just frankly better than anything in any pack ever. Like, if I'm not taking the Quicksmith Rebel, there's not even really a black or white card here for us. We could take the Implement of Malice, which I think we might play, but again, it's not going to go into improvised shenanigans. We could take the Rebel and look to potentially splash it. It would kind of take 2 Renegade maps. I'm not opposed to playing 2 Renegade maps. There's just no downside here to taking that and seeing if something comes together. That's a little bit of a surprise for me. But I guess our neighbor is not in green, which is kind of bizarre. We got a couple different reasons to want this map, and a couple reasons to say this is just better than any of the cards we have for this deck at all, ever. or that we're going to get. But again, there's not really a whole lot of signaling here. Like, these are all good green cards. I could see the Druid or the Revolutionary and say, oh, they didn't take a green card. That one's just unbeatable. I'm going to take the map. It opens us up to splash either of these cards. Triggers Revolt. We don't really have a reason to be revolting yet other than the call for unity. But if I'm going to do this, let's do it. Let's stick to it and make it work. There's the Defiant Salvager. That's what I've been saying I wanted all draft, and if I don't take it here, I may actually just not get one. Some very powerful gold cards here. If one of these was another stockpile, I think we'd just be in business. But it's not. Okay, some good stuff here. These for the blue-black deck that could have been. Cruel Finality for us to have some interaction, which I don't hate, but that's not really what I want. The Restoration Specialist could be quite good for us. I think I'm in on the Restoration Specialist. I really want one more Salvager. If I can grab one more, I think we're in business. This is a really tough one for me because we would play a Fin Hauler. I don't think we have to have a Fin Hauler. If I take the Renegade map, I can just splash the Quicksmith Rebel, and another Felidar Guardian would go well with the call for unity. But I think I need to just be a big boy, take the map, and recognize that this is probably stronger than anything else I could be doing. Y'all have seen me play this Slough Requisitioner before, and it has been exceptionally okay. Not great. Like, we're not exactly dumping out a lot of stuff here. I think the Implement of Improvement's probably in this as well. With the maps, maybe we can make this work. Maybe. All right, getting kind of to the dregs now, except for the packs that aren't mine. I guess don't make me play an Aether Inspector. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Blue. Blue was the answer. The whole time. We're probably revolting enough now that these aeronauts are just okay. Our artifact count is up to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Sort of 6? So wouldn't mind a couple more artifacts to go on the Rebel. I really wanted 2 Salvagers, and I'm not sure that there's a replacement effect for it. I guess what I really wanted was 2 hidden stockpiles and 2 Salvagers. But it's my first experience attempting to draft around this card. It looks like, I guess maybe white was so open that other people went into it as well. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Filigree Crawler is kind of awful. Kind of awful. Of course, so is the Getaway. The only card here you're super happy about is the Drake and the first 4th Bridge Prowler. I guess I can take another one of these for the board and not hate myself too much. Like, if our Revolt payoff is the Aeronaut, I don't think we're super thrilled about that, but we can make it work. This guy's all right. I've talked crap about the Reservoir Walker before, but I had it in a PTQ deck with the dude that copies artifacts, and it was surprisingly good. Turns out 7 mana to gain 3 life, 3 energy is just playable. Just playable. I guess we'll be really good against the decks that this is good against. Although I suppose Renegade's Getaway in a pinch is something I could play and does make an artifact. So we'll take that. Conviction? That might be something we do. I have seen Conviction go from okay to good to occasionally great. We've opened a bomb here, which is fantastic. It's a big upgrade for the Reservoir Walker. So having a bomb artifact is really good for us. I think we'd also be interested in Die Young and Doomed Operative. Probably either of these 2 white cards as well. And I've been relatively happy in this format having Morbid Curiosity in the sideboard. There's a lot of enchantment-based removal. And if you play against blue-white specifically, you can really get some value out of that. But we'll take our Wanderer and be pretty happy. Now we're starting to see some cards in our colors. We'll take a White Hawk, and I think be pretty thrilled about it. Yeah. Ninth Bridge Patrol, also a consideration. It combos with the Hidden Stockpile. I think we actively want one of those at this point, but we'll have to keep an eye out for it. So I've got the Enthusiast, which gives me a bunch of servos and fodder for this guy. It also gives me artifacts for the Rebel. I may actually want it more than the Augmenter, which kind of doesn't make sense, right? Like you pay an extra mana for an extra 1/1 worth of stats. Filler Bug's pretty strong here too. This pack looks like we've been making the correct picks all along, and our geniuses, which I'll take. I'm concerned about getting too much stuff clumped up here. And it's not like I'm really doing a whole lot with this. I like the Enthusiast a lot. I also like the Augmenter. Yeah, I've got so many 4s, I think I just need to take the 3, even though the 3 is better. That feels weird, but here we are. Continuing to see decent blue. I think Acrobatic Maneuver could actually do something in this deck. There's not a lot of decks where it's amazing, but it can happen. Are we really playing the schematic now? We probably are. It plays well here. It plays well here. It plays well here. We've got 3 combos with it. It's all right here. At 13 creatures, though, I might be better off just taking the Broker. But I'm going to speculate a little bit here. Well, hello there. I think we'd have been happy with Privileges or Subtle Strike, but Gearsmith is just a 4 I can get happy about. Sort of counting these as lands. If we got to fill out a deck with this guy, it does at least get the Foundry Assembler, which is not nothing. It's just also not particularly good. Like, Inspired Charge used to be the card you wanted for black-white decks. I'm not convinced it is anymore. I could again sort of see it doing something, but it's not like we're cranking out a million servos with this. I'm going to take the Self-Assembler and kind of hope we don't have to have this combo. Ironlance Dig is just good. So is Bastion Mastodon, but I mean, this is 2 bodies for 1. I'm not really a pummeler guy. Y'all know that. Looks like we got there. We'll have to play a few filler level cards, but I can be happy about what's going on here. We ended up a little more white than black, but meh. Like I said, black wasn't particularly open. It's an example of kind of forcing a color because you want to try something. I would actually encourage you to try that sometimes. Well, now we've got questions, and I'll explain why I would encourage you to try forcing a color. We've got 1, 2, 3-ish, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I can play in underhanded designs. I would encourage you to try things like this because you get to try decks that you haven't experienced before. Like, I may not have the best Hidden Stockpile deck, but I can kind of see like some of these synergy cards if they actually work together and do the thing. I mentioned liking having Morbid Curiosity in the board. I'm trying to decide if we've got room for a Built to Last in the main, and I think with a couple good artifact creatures we do. Wow, and blah. Okie dokie, there you go. We're gonna do this. We got some cuts to make, that's fine, but I was mentioning wanting a Ninth Bridge Patrol. I was gonna be happy with a Scavenger, but Ninth Bridge Patrol, we'll play all day. Sure, that's technically 2 copies of our stockpile, right? But like, there's been many times where I've been drafting a set and I've kind of gotten in a rut, right? Like, I've played a certain color combination so many times that I'm not exactly sure how to get out of it. And forcing yourself to draft something different, even if you don't get a great version of the deck, is a great way to kind of break that cycle. All right, so we've ended up with what I think is a decent synergy deck. which is a little unusual for me with a couple cuts. Like, I'm never super thrilled to play Herald of the Fair, even if it's okay. I think I need to make one more cut at the very least. I can see Acrobatic Maneuver doing some work for us. Underhanded Designs looks good. Should probably just cut a 4. We've got so darn many of them, and these aeronauts are just okay. Yeah, I could trim a 4 and be all right. Like, I'm curious too about how excited I am to run a Renegade map and then the lands, because we've got some double whites that may be difficult to hit, especially if I'm thinking we're going to hit these on time. Like the Acrobatic Maneuver is the easy cut here. We can run 23 in the 2 maps. You know what? I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be bold. We're running 15 lands. We're running 14 lands with a splash. With a splash. I think I can actually pull this off. I could also just cut the Sly Requisitioner. I could cut the Sly Requisitioner. I don't want to cut the Sly Requisitioner, but I could. And then our deck gets a little better. The biggest challenge for me is the maps, because we're splashing, kind of have to get the Rebel. All right, we got some combos. I can dig what's going on with this deck. Let's jam it in for game 1 and see how it works out. We can make some changes after that if we need to.